Britain's most celebrated charity fundraiser, Speedo Mick, is here with us today, and I've got to be honest with you, I'm struggling on how to actually describe what you do to people that might not be too familiar with you. So how would you describe everything you're doing?
Well, that's a pretty big question, to be honest, to start off. Well, I describe it as is basically giving back. I'm trying to give back, and obviously, I'm doing it in a bit of a peculiar way. I'm doing it all in a pair of speedos, and where I run around the country, doing big challenges. This challenge is like a 2,000-mile walk, but it's a 2,400-mile walk. So I'll stay in there. I'll stay in my speedos no matter what the weather.
Wow.
So, So what it besides from raising quite a few pound to give back to charities and to help the communities on this one, we're also raising the smiles. We're raising the spirits of people. People have been in lockdown for a long time as well. It just seems to snap people out of whatever they're thinking, whatever's going on in their lives. It just seems to bring a little bit of humour, a little bit of lightheartedness, and of course, the serious side of that is we support mental health, disadvantaged young people, and homelessness.
Yeah, definitely. And I take it you must raise a few eyebrows as well as money and smiles.
Oh yes, yeah, a few eyebrows. Yeah, we raise more smiles than I do eyebrows. But it is funny. It is funny to see when the eyebrows go up, because a lot of people know about what I'm doing now, so you don't get that so much anymore. But it is really funny to see, the shock looks and stuff. When the cars are driving past, it just makes me laugh, because they're like, the jaws are just hitting the floor, But you'd always get a little smile after the shock look, you know what I mean? And the image of me and me speedos is seared into the mind. He seems to smile after that.
Yeah. And how rough does it get? Because I guess walking for a long time can be tiring enough, and you end up with loads of blisters, etc. So it must be even worse when you're not wearing as much clothes and you have all the elements battering you in ways that they don't normally.
Well, yeah, of course, yeah. I've got no shelter, so to speak. I've got no coat or jumper or anything like that. What I have got is a fluffy hat, you know what I mean, which gets pretty wet pretty quickly when it's raining. But that's what you're battling. That's the challenge. The challenge is the elements. No matter what comes, I have to stay in. I don't have to, but the challenge is to stay in my speedo. So no matter what, whether it rains, it snows, there's gale force winds. Because on the last walk, we had a storm. What was it? A storm. Katrina. Not Katrina. Anyway, there was a couple of storms anyway on the last walk, and I just walked through them. You know what I mean? And it's a big challenge for me. It's a big challenge, but it's amazing what you can do. With your mindset. You know what I mean? And it is all about your mind. It's about the mind. It's about the challenge. The physical side of it is really difficult as well, but it's the mind that you have to battle with all the time when it's freezing cold, it's soaking wet. You know what I mean? You've got a bag on your back that's actually got a warm jumper in and a coat. Yeah, the pants, you know what I mean? You've got to battle that, you know what I mean? Just put them on,
Yeah.
So.
Well, yeah, has there ever been a time where you've just kind of had to put the jacket on because it's just not safe to go on as you are?
Yeah, of course, yeah. There's been several times. I mean, it happened in the House Hebrides on this last walk. So I've literally had to. It's a bit difficult. So you got to be careful, that you don't get hypothermia, and because you come a bit delirious, you don't know what you're doing. Then you could just, you could walk across a field or anything and just get lost in the end, So you have to be careful with it, and you have to, keep an eye on that stuff. But I got really, really cold, and I didn't really notice how cold it was in the House Hebrides on this one. And I went into somebody said, "No, come on, you're looking a bit cold." And I was going to carry on, and I said, so I went in to have a hot drink, and And I realised when I got in there just how cold it was. I was really cold, and I had to put my clothes on for the rest of the walk that day, which was about another 4 hours walk. So, and on the last one, it was like minus. I think it was -6 in Scotland on the winter walk, December and January. So sometimes I'd have to put my coat on and put my jumper and stuff on for 20 minutes. You know what I mean? Just to warm up, and then take them back off again. So that's what I kept having. Not kept having to do, but I think I'd done it about 3 or 4 times on that walk. But that was it. Yeah. The last walk was over 2.5 month walk, you know what I mean? So that's not bad, is it? You know what I mean? In the dead of winter, putting my coat on about 4 times,
Yeah. And you're currently doing your 2,000-mile giving back tour.
I am, yeah.
You're having a day off at the moment, so you can speak to us. Where are you currently?
Well, I'm in Plymouth at the moment. Yeah. That's where I'm at. Yep, I'm in Plymouth. I've been shown loads of support by Plymouth and Plymouth Football Club and the fans and stuff as well. So it's always great to be in Plymouth.
Absolutely. And what is unique about this particular tour? What are you raising awareness for, and where are you going, etc.?
Well, what we're trying to raise awareness for is mental health, disadvantaged young people, and homelessness. That's what we're trying to do. Especially, the mental health is at the forefront of everything at the moment as well because of the pandemic.
Yeah.
But I've experienced homelessness myself in the past. So, we're coming into the winter months again. So we're trying to raise some funds so we can get people back into shelter at least for the winter months. Potentially saving some lives. And maybe getting them into some permanent accommodation somewhere along the way. And of course we've got the disadvantaged young people who which is one of what I was myself again, in the past. So we're just trying to give them some experiences that they wouldn't ordinarily have, going out for a couple of days, going away for a weekend, or maybe learning to play an instrument, do you know what I mean? Or just any other experience that they wouldn't ordinarily, get basically. And I had an experience like that when I was young. So when I was I was about 10. Our whole year was going to Cullen. It was a place in Wales where we used to go to, and the school used to take, each year there, you know what I mean? And we couldn't afford it. Yeah. And it was only £8 in those days. It was £8 to go, but we couldn't afford it. So I wasn't going. Somebody else from the school wasn't going in that year, wasn't going. And the school subsidised that trip for me. And I got to go, and I had the experience of my life there, you know what I mean? It was absolutely fantastic. I was so happy to be there, so that's what we're trying to do. Maybe we can subsidise a few young people to be able to go on a little break and experience, like I say, things that we're not necessarily going to experience. But I remember that now. I'm 56 years of age now, and I remember that holiday as clear as day because I was able to go. Do you know what I mean? I learned a lot. I learned quite a few things then as well about people being generous, and so that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to make a difference, a small difference. You know what I mean? It's possibly a little drop in the ocean, but we're trying to make a difference in people's lives, in the communities, and basically we're open to give small charities, registered charities that support mental health, disadvantaged young people and homelessness, some financial support because of the pandemic they've been unable to fundraise, have they? So their services have been dropping. If their services drop, people will tend to go to hospitals, NHS, doctors, and so the NHS is already at full capacity. Yeah, you know what I mean. So there's a big knock-on effect if these services drop. So this is what we're trying to do, trying to make an immediate impact on the communities and on those people's lives instead of starting our own projects and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Because that's going to take time. We're going to basically be reinventing the wheel, and we're going to have to get our own service users in there. But they've already got the projects up and they've already got the service users, so we just need to help them financially So that's what's happening with the walk. Plus, like I say, we're raising a few smiles, we're having a few laughs, we're dancing in a few laundrettes, and we're trying to make this as light-hearted and as funny and and as serious as we possibly can as well.
Yeah, definitely. And you're scheduled to finish this tour in December time. Do you have an exact date, or is it kind of unpredictable?
Well, it's a little bit unpredictable at the moment, but right now we've got the 9th. We've got the 9th of December, but we think it might go up to around about the 15th, something like that, because, we're having to take little extra days off for basically, because my feet are really sore, you know what I mean, at the moment. To walk, I think it's about 1,500 miles, and my feet are sore, so we're having to take a little bit more time off than we was going to, just to rest them up,
Yeah. And I guess you haven't really been able to do much during the strictest lockdowns, because I guess, exercise has been allowed, but I doubt going all the way up the country has to that extent.
No, absolutely, yes. So, I was locked down, like I say, we were all locked down, but I had a massive negative reaction to the lockdown as well. I like the open spaces, and I like to be able to be doing something and keep myself busy. And so I had a bit of a mental breakdown myself. It wasn't a bit of a one; it was a pretty bad one, to be honest. And so I asked for help, then, you know what I mean, and so that's pretty much what we're trying to do here. We've got the mental health day on the 10th of October as well. So we're really, really trying to raise the awareness for that. And we keep having to tell people that it's okay to, not telling people, but we have to, let people know that it's okay not to be okay, and it's okay to be talking about mental health, because there's still stigma. You know what I mean? Weak. You might be weak, or you can't you can't look after yourself and stuff like that. And it's just not true. You just ask them for help. We all need it, and it's opening up a lot more now with the mental health. And people are able to reach out to a lot of services now.
Yeah.
So that's what we're trying to do. You know what I mean? Obviously I'm an addict as well. I'm 19 years clean and sober. I got my life back when I came into recovery, and when I come into recovery, the people who helped me then said, all we ask you to do is to give what we've given to you back to other people. So that's exactly, I've took a little bit further, like I've took my clothes off and started running around the country. but it raises the awareness of mental health, addiction, and that you can, most of all, you can recover. I'm recovering from childhood trauma, and I'm recovering from mental health. I'm recovering from addiction.
Yeah.
I found out I've got ADHD, in recovery. So there's all these things that are all linking up. But I've become a member of the community again. Do you know what I mean? And I wasn't that for a long, long time. When I've become a member of the community, a productive member of the community, by giving back. And you just, honestly, you get so much back. You know what I mean? You get self-esteem by doing esteemable stuff. And I never had any self-esteem. I've never had any self-esteem until I come into recovery. When there was a lot of wrong messages that I'd been given as a child and stuff like that. So I'm having to rethink and rewire my old way of thinking, and my outlook on life was negative, and it's not anymore, because I've not reinvented myself. I've just had to go back to the basics and restart, rebuilding myself and the way I think and the way I act and the way I behave from the beginning, basically. And it takes a little while, but it's been well worth it. It's been one hell of a ride, I'll tell you that. It's been one hell of a ride.
Yeah.
And you get. I've had. I actually managed, after all those years of being, homeless and active addiction. I was there for 20 years, and that was obviously after the childhood trauma and the mental health. and all that stuff. I managed to do some amazing things. I managed to swim the English Channel,
Wow.
and it's just honestly, I'm not like giving myself a big up or anything, but none of this stuff was possible. It was way out of my scope. I could never dream of swimming a mile, never mind the English Channel. And
Yeah.
now I believe I can do things. I can help people, and I'm inspiring people by doing this stuff as well. I mean, I get told that, all the time people come along, on the walks and stuff, and just say, I've done a cycle ride for their chosen charity because they've seen you doing this stuff. When there was never anything negative, never anything to be inspired by when I was in active addiction, of course. So it just shows you that you can turn your life around and you can be you can have a positive impact on people's lives, on communities, and leave a decent footprint before I pop me clogs. Do you know what I mean? Me walking boots. I want to leave, a decent footprint on the planet. That's what I'd like to do.
Yeah, absolutely. And once you finish your tour, are you up to anything around Christmas time?
Yes, I'm going to be sitting down on a couch with my family, with my feet up. That's what I'm going to be doing. No, I'm going to be going to Liverpool, and I'll be joining my family there.
Yeah.
We're all going to have a big night out together.
Yeah.
Not a night out, but I think we're all going to be jumping going into a hotel for a couple of days. So we're just all going to be in a hotel, you know what I mean? Like a little, yeah. So that's what I'm going to be doing for Christmas time, you know what I mean? And I will be fully dressed.
Definitely. Well, where are we able to keep up to date with you and donate to you and do everything that we need to do to support you?
Okay, so you can go to either Speedo Mick on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or any of them. And you'll find out all the stuff, all the information comes out on a daily basis and a weekly basis about where I'll be going, where I'll be visiting, and usually what days and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And you'll also be able to find any information about my story on the SpeedoMick Foundation website, where you'll find links on all the Instagram, the Facebook, Twitter, and the on the website where you can donate as well, or you can just Google SpeedoMick, GoFundMe, SpeedoMick's Giving Back Tour, where, by the way, we're giving £250,000 back. We haven't mentioned this, have we?
I don't think so.
We're giving £250,000 back
Wow.
to small charities along the route. This is not just a fundraiser. The purpose of this walk is to give those small charities make such a massive difference in the communities that you might not have even heard of, but do make a bad. They're helping a lot of people, helping a lot of families, and ultimately they're helping the community by looking after these, or support, not looking after, but supporting these people. So we're giving them £250,000 worth of grants along the route. So if there is any small charities, along this route, or in England, we've done England, Ireland, Scotland, and Wales. You know what I mean? Because we're not talking about borders here. We're talking about people. So we'll be donating to all the nations. And so if there is any small charities that are registered, you can go onto the SpeedoMick Foundation website, and you can basically apply for a grant. So that's what's happening.
Yeah, that sounds so exciting. Yeah. Well,
yeah,
thanks very much for coming on the show this afternoon. It's been great to have you here.
Toby, listen, it's been lovely speaking to you. And thank you very much indeed for getting me on and trying to raise the awareness here. It really is appreciated. It's how the word gets out, basically, with the likes of yourself. So thank you so much indeed.